Look anywhere in the world right now, and you'll find South Korean culture. From global chart-topping music and binge-watch television to highly sought-after skincare and international cuisine, the country's exports are ubiquitous. Fans pack out stadiums from London to Los Angeles in seconds. But as this influence scales, a persistent critique has surfaced online. Critics argue that this movement is heavily engineered, claiming the South Korean government is pulling the strings behind a massive state-funded operation. That leaves us with a massive question. Is the Korean wave the result of brilliant top-down government planning, or is it the product of relentless private sector hustle? Resolving this debate exposes a specific, replicable strategy for cultural expansion that has redefined international influence in the 21st century. To find the origin of this strategy, we have to look back to a time before the music and the movies. Decades ago, South Korea's economy was built almost entirely on heavy manufacturing, steel, ships, and cars, leaving the nation completely exposed to global trade cycles. When the 1997 Asian financial crisis hit, that exposure proved devastating. The industrial economy crumbled, corporations collapsed, and millions lost their jobs, bringing the country to the brink of total insolvency. Faced with financial ruin, government planners searched for a new export. They realized that movies, music, and television could be manufactured, packaged, and shipped overseas with the exact same industrial discipline they had previously applied to building cars. South Korea's cultural empire was a calculated pivot, a tool for economic survival forged under the pressure of national bankruptcy. Once the government committed to this new path, they opened the treasury. They designated the creative sector as a national strategic industry and began pouring billions of dollars into it, vastly outpacing neighboring countries. While Japan allocated $158 million to content promotion, South Korea's Ministry of Culture set a staggering $5.2 billion budget. Rather than funding individual pop groups, the state builds massive infrastructure, establishing 32 Korean cultural centers globally to ensure a permanent runway abroad. Following decades of heavy censorship, the late 90s brought a new golden rule for the administration: provide the financial scaffolding, but absolutely leave the creators alone. Having a well-funded international distribution network is incredibly useful, but building a cultural center in Paris or New York does not magically force millions of teenagers to learn Korean or stream a drama. That actual connection requires the agility of the private sector. Independent entertainment agencies like SM and YG recognized early on that they needed to find their own audiences. Instead of relying entirely on slow, state-sponsored events, these agencies weaponized early social media and video sharing platforms. They bypassed rigid global broadcasting networks to build direct, real-time relationships with consumers overseas. These fans holding synchronized light sticks act as a global promotional army, translating lyrics and coordinating streaming campaigns with the efficiency of a professional marketing department. This bottom-up, community-driven mobilization contrasts sharply with the state-led models attempted by regional competitors, which often struggled to translate government funding into measurable, real-time fan engagement. By mastering the mechanics of digital fan culture, private agencies gave Korean media the momentum to spread virally, completely independent of government mandates. Still, scaling that viral success into a multi-billion-dollar global industry requires serious corporate muscle. In South Korea, that muscle comes from the chaebols, massive family-run conglomerates like Samsung, Hyundai, and CJ Group. These conglomerates possess the vast international distribution networks and the financial leverage that independent creators and small startups simply do not have on their own. Take the Oscar-winning film Parasite, directed by Bong Joon-ho. The production received zero government funding. Instead, it relied entirely on a massive subsidiary of the CJ Group to distribute and market the film across North America. This corporate machinery doesn't stop at media. The private sector actively exports specific, highly profitable lifestyle standards alongside the music and films, particularly in the realm of cosmetics and fashion. By promoting a standard of flawless, soft masculinity and deep skincare routines through pop idols and actors, the K-beauty industry tapped into a highly lucrative market, absorbing quickly into global consumer habits. When you look at the raw data in the history, the internet rumor falls apart. The Korean wave is neither a pure state-run propaganda machine nor a completely isolated triumph of independent artists. The engine driving this phenomenon is a highly synchronized public-private partnership. The government builds the stadium by securing trade routes and funding global infrastructure, and the private talent steps onto the field to play the game. Because the state provided financial stability without enforcing creative control, South Korean companies could remain fast and adaptable, rapidly overtaking competitors who relied on rigid, top-down bureaucratic systems. South Korea took the concept of soft power, historically a passive byproduct of wealth or military, and turned it into an aggressive, measurable industrial policy. They proved that with the right infrastructure and the right talent, a nation can export its identity, its beauty standards, and its values just as efficiently and profitably as microchips and cars.